Sports Show is presented by BetDSI.com, the premier online sportsbook. Use promo code Sean120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Sean Sports Show is also brought to you by Paperhead.com, the leader in sportsbook management software. And now, live from Hollywood, California, it's Sean Sports Show. Tonight's starting lineup at guest, hailing from San Diego, California, comedian Jono Zalay. Coaching Sean Sports Show, subbing in for Coach T, it's Coach J. I'm Chicago's favorite sidekick, John Huck. Now please, give it up for Bethlehem, Pennsylvania's own, the host of Sean Sports Show, Sean Green!
Welcome everyone to Sean Sports Show. I'm your host, Sean Green.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it, guys. John Wall went viral this week after the Washington Wizards tweeted out this photo of him. I think we have the photo of John Wall. He looks like an Uber driver who's trying to keep it together, but clearly going through some shit right now. It honestly, this look kind of reminds me of the kids in high school who thought they should get their driver's license photo taken when they're really high. So if they get pulled over high, they'll look exactly the same. No, they'll never know, man. I look the same. Talking basketball, LeBron James. There was a sighting of LeBron James. He was seen dunking at his son's basketball game a few days ago. Got a photo of that. That's pretty nice of LeBron, you know, to hang out and be the cool dad. To put things in perspective, I remember when my dad tried to show off in front of my friends on a canoeing trip. Our clothes had all gotten soaked, and my dad's first course of action was to start grilling his underwear on the campfire. Of course, my mom threw them out because they had burn marks, and he got in a huge fight with my mom going, "Lisa, those were my good pair!" So, you know, some dads are just cooler. Sorry, Dad. San Francisco 49ers quarterback Jimmy G, a.k.a. Jimmy Garoppolo, was spotted. He was out on the town on a date with porn star Kiera Mia. I've got a photo here of the two. The pair initially met because it turns out they go to the same eyebrow lady. Come on, Jimmy. You know, back in my day, QBs, we saw a unibrow. We let, hairs were going everywhere. When asked about the highly publicized date, Jimmy G described it as a learning experience. I mean, for me, a learning experience is no wings after 9 p.m. And I love how he's got, even when talking about dating porn stars, the athletes are still so programmed. They got to use the same tired athletic cliches like, you know, it's learning experience. Hey, we're just taking it one day at a time. Defense wins championships. Why not just take it one step further and thank the big man upstairs, Jimmy? Speaking of QBs who are going to be fucked, the Cleveland Browns QBs, they set up an RV at their training camp that only they're allowed in. Ooh, how mysterious. Don't let that QB magic seep out, guys. Let's kid ourselves. This isn't some sort of team-building bonding experience. This is a legit attempt to contain an outbreak of diseased quarterbacks, okay? You know how you fix the quarterback problem in Cleveland? Put all the QBs into one RV, and then when they least expect it, drive it off a fucking cliff, okay? Run the Wildcat the entire season. You'll win 6 games. I love football, obviously, and I'm jacked. I'm so excited for the season to begin. This is the training camp special. But let's be honest, guys. There's a lot of negative Nellies out there talking about, you know, brain damage and kneeling and all sorts of nonsense. Football needs to be more popular with the millennial crowd. And what do millennials love? That's right. Challenge videos. So to appeal to young hipsters everywhere, I've created the 3-step drop challenge to help raise awareness for the beginning of NFL training camp. Enjoy. Welcome back, everyone, to Sean's Sports Show. I'm here with my buddy John. John, what's happening, man?
Not too much, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was certainly jacked up with that three-step drop challenge.
Yeah, looked good. Sharp.
You know, and listen, did I freak some people out at Starbucks? Yes, I did.
But I mean, they didn't call the cops on you.
No, they didn't, because even as weird as it was, me practicing my three-step drop in Starbucks, there were like 3 other guys at Starbucks who were much, much weirder.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a great thing about being in Los Angeles. As weird as you're going to be, there's definitely someone out there,
always
beating
weirder.
out your weirdness.
Always someone weirder.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if the three-step, it could be the next, what's the
Ice
actual
bucket
challenge? Oh, yeah. Well, we're not helping out ALS.
Oh.
If anything, we're helping raise awareness for NFL training camp, which may lead to ALS. So,
right, good point.
We'll see.
Promoting it in a positive light?
Probably not what we're not getting any bracelets. Let's be honest. All right, John. They say, they use the word training camp. They use it pretty loose. I mean, let's be honest. They call it a camp, but there's no tents. There's no s'mores. There's no playing with pocket knives until someone yells at you. So I thought, let's do some real camping, and it'd be fun if we put together a team of guys that we would have fun camping with. Athletes, of course.
Of course.
John, I'll let you kick things. We're not just going to pick out random dudes to go camping with.
No,
although I would.
My buddy Steve is really good at camping.
All right, John, out of all the athletes out there, who would you like to go camping with?
The first name that came to my head was Dan Fouts.
Okay, Dan Fouts.
Which
you got some Chargers fans in the
which was accidental.
Crowd.
Which was accidental. I didn't realize we would be to be so San Diego heavy on this show. But my whole thing was, you can't really see it here, but he was one of the first athletes I remember with a full-on beard, like just straight up. He didn't. It wasn't a hip thing. It wasn't cool.
No.
This guy was like, look, if I had to be in the movie Red Dawn, I could go live in the mountains. And things would be fine. It's a very...
he had a beard when a beard meant something, right?
Yeah,
when it brought a certain attitude, certain cachet. There was a time when if you had a beard...
You were a man.
You were a man. You could, if you would just look at a guy with a beard, you would know he would have flint on him at all times.
At all times.
Ready to start a fire.
At all times. Definitely a pocket knife. You know what I mean? Probably something strapped to the ankle.
Yes.
Who knows? But like,
now having a beard just means you have a podcast.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything now. It certainly doesn't mean you're a man. That's for damn sure.
All sort of swagger.
Yeah.
All right. First guy I'd like to go camping with is Kevin Cobb. That's right. We got a photo of Kevin Cobb. Speaking of concussions, he's out of the game thanks to some unfortunate concussions. Kevin Cobb, I know what you're thinking. Why would you pick a failed Eagles quarterback to go camping with?
I know why you would pick a failed Eagles quarterback.
Because I have some Kevin Cobb thoughts that you're not going to get on any other sports talk show. Just the mention of Kevin Cobb. John, I know you don't know this because not many people know anything about Kevin Cobb, but Kevin Cobb used to hunt wild boars with his hands and just a 12-inch Bowie knife. How badass is that?
That's pretty badass. What was his reasoning? He just liked boar meat?
Yeah, I hope that's the reason. I hope he didn't just like killing things.
I gotta murder something with my bare hands.
I like watching stuff bleed.
The NFL won't let me do it.
Kevin, save that for the field. All right, John, who's next on your camping wish list?
I would say Yogi Berra.
Okay.
Which I know seems strange, but like, you're having beers, you're sitting around the fire. Who's got better stories, better witticisms, better quips, better ideas, more interesting things
Picnic
to say?
baskets, possibly.
Well, because he sounds like, sure, there's that.
I couldn't help go there,
No,
John.
no, that's fair. But in my head, like, he's entertainment until, say, a crazy bear comes out of the woods, and then he's easily picked up and thrown towards the bear. It's the guy you can hurl into the air to buy yourself some time to get the hell out of there.
I like that, John, because that means you're sitting there, you're at the campfire, you're listening to Yogi Berra spin his yards, but in the back of your head, you know at a moment's notice he could be tossed as bait.
I would chuck you at a bear.
That's a fitting legacy for Yogi Berra. All right, next up, the guy I went with is former Philadelphia Philly, Shane Victorino.
Oh, nice.
The Flying Hawaiian.
Yeah.
First off, he's a switch hitter, and that's the kind of versatility you want with a guy you're going camping with.
Yeah.
And listen, you got a left-handed fishing rod, and you're like, oh, hey, I can't use this. Shane Victorino can take it. You can take turns going back and forth. Also, Shane Victorino, an Eagle Scout. So, I mean, come on. You talk about, what more do you want than a guy who's actually an Eagle Scout?
I feel like you've looked into these people. Like I didn't do that part of it.
I did Google athletes who are Eagle Scouts, and then just picked whoever was a Philadelphia athlete. So, pretty simple formula, John.
Yeah, I see what you did there. That's good.
Who's your last camping?
My
athlete?
last pick, my anchor is WWF wrestler Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Okay.
And it was WWF at the time. First of all, I didn't realize we were going to have such a patriotic picture. The guy clearly...
There were so many great photos to pick from Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Clearly
a
the
lot
guy,
where he was actually holding a hacksaw.
He clearly loves America.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the out of doors.
Yes.
He's got hacksaw in the name. You need to cut some trees down. You need to get some wood for the fire. You need to, go after an animal for possible
if you're an animal
nutrition.
and you see Hacksaw Jim Duggan running after you, you don't try to escape. You just submit to his wishes.
You surrender,
yes.
and you're glad that he's the one who took you out. Because
you see it as a privilege that you're going to be eaten by Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Absolutely.
All right, I love it. All right, my last guy that I would like to go camping with, Bo Jackson. All right, I mean, look at first off. Bo knows everything, okay?
Yeah.
Bo knows, do you know that Bo knows Bo Jackson, after he retired from being a two-sport athlete because of a hip injury, he went on to a very successful bow hunting career. And was that a coincidence that Bo just decided to get into bows? Possibly. Maybe he's a fan of puns. But either way, I want a guy like Bo Jackson. Also, look at him breaking that bat right there.
Yeah.
Look at it. That's a guy you want out getting kindling for you, okay? Just any sort of sticks, he's just breaking them apart. That's a guy you want to hang out with. And it's just going to be an awesome camping trip, me and Bo Jackson.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, why can't camping be his third sport?
Yes, he's the three-sport athlete, camping the most underrated sport of all time. All right, John, I got a question for you. What's your favorite thing?
I just like hanging out.
Incorrect, John.
Oh.
Your favorite thing, and everyone's favorite thing, is stacking cold, hard cash from betting on football, which you can do over at BetDSI.com. Live wagering, teasers, parlays. It's a degenerate's paradise over at BetDSI.com. If you use the promo code Sean120, they'll give you a 120% sign-up bonus. Our next guest on Sean's Sports Show isn't free cash, but he's just as enjoyable. He's a stand-up comedian and host of Fuck the Chargers podcast. Please welcome Jono Zalay, everyone.
How are you?
Oh, great. Thank
Jono,
you.
thanks for coming on.
Of course.
First off, I got to, thanks for coming on the show, but we got to show off your lovely Fuck the Chargers podcast logo.
Oh, sure.
Which I was able to pull up. And just walk us through. It's obviously, there you go. I like the upside down bolt.
Oh, clever.
Now,
Thank you.
I mean, I can just tell by the name of the podcast. You describe your relationship to the San Diego Chargers.
So I grew up a Chargers fan, so like I still like Dan Fouts, I should say, because he's from exclusively the San Diego Chargers.
And he said when he goes into the Hall of Fame, he will not be a Los Angeles Charger, he will be a San Diego Charger.
He's a San Diegan.
No, he gets it. We're both bearded San Diegans.
Yes,
I'm also an Eagle Scout, by the way.
Oh, really?
I'd take this guy camping in a heartbeat.
Dan Fouts just got boxed out.
You don't have to go just tandem camping. You can have a whole tent.
All right, yeah, we can probably fit 3 guys in a tent.
Yeah, we're fine.
Sleep head to toe.
So you're a big Chargers fan.
Yes,
and then,
I grew up watching them, loved them, very devoted. When I lived on the East Coast for 11 years, and that was like my connection to my hometown. Like every Sunday I'd go to a sports bar. They were non-local TV in New York.
Yeah.
And so I'd find the one bar in the whole city of New York that was playing the Chargers on one TV and, devote my Sunday to that. And that was my connection and a sense of, camaraderie with like my hometown.
Hey, my hometown.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. And since They have moved to LA. I have no connection with them. I've severed all ties.
But you live in LA.
I did. I did the same thing they did in a sense, in that I followed the money to better my career.
Yeah, San Diego. They're like, hey, we're not getting enough writing gigs.
Yeah.
We're not getting the main room showcase shows that we got in San Diego.
Yes, but here's the difference. I didn't fake how many Twitter followers I have.
Oh wow, burn.
Yes. No,
So you're accusing the Chargers of having fake Twitter followers?
Yeah.
Or is there a Russian bot farm supporting the Los Angeles Chargers?
There has to have been. I mean, they were also Trump supporters, so there's another knock against them. But yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know when the bot, like, with Purge happened, but like for sure their followers just got Thanos like in half at least.
Well, I went to the Chargers-Eagles game, and it was like 60 to 70% Eagles fans.
Oh, sure.
In a soccer stadium. So there was 20,000 seats. How are they going to fill up this giant stadium in a couple of years?
I mean, well, the other team's fans might.
But you can't get, like when you're playing the Colts, it's an 80,000 seat stadium. You're not going to get 60,000 Colts fans and 20,000 Chargers fans. There's just going to be 65,000 unsold seats.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hilarious.
So I guess that comes back to fuck the Chargers.
Yeah.
Did you ever, when you were out on the East Coast, did you ever go to a Chargers game on the East Coast?
I did. I went to a couple. I went to one in Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a little chicken wing tour up there.
Yeah, good times.
Saw Niagara, and the Bolts grind out like a victory with Donald Brown as their running back. It was the game that Danny Woodhead got injured. I was very upset.
Yes.
Good for him. He ran off to the Ravens before to end his career. He never played for the Los Angeles Chargers. That's why he's in my Hall of Fame as well.
He still hangs in there.
And then I also saw the Ravens in Baltimore. And that's the game that Keenan Allen got injured.
Oh, God, man.
So I saw a lot of iconic Charger injuries.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone to any of the games.
Did you ever go to a Pats game in face off against the Pats?
I did. I saw. I lived in Boston for 6 years. I was going to grad school there, and I don't know. I had some Chargers gear that I would wear to any time.
Yeah,
to
were you
support
worried? Because I know as an Eagles fan, people are always like, "Is it safe to come in there? Are you going to throw batteries at me?" And possibly, right? I like to leave that out there. I don't want to. Some guys on the Eagles message board are like, "It's safe. We get a bad name," and I'm like, "No, we want that. We want people to be scared.
I want to keep that badass rep."
Yeah, I like a 45-year-old man to question whether or not he should come to our stadium. It's like, oh, I might get beat up. That's
the mind games you have to play.
I'm trying to get in your head, other fans.
That's what Bill Belichick does when he's like,
exactly.
am I micing your locker room? You never know.
You never know.
But I discovered there's a thing you can do if you ever want to avoid being heckled in a hostile territory like that.
What's your
And that's
secret?
when you're walking through the stadium, just hold hands. It takes out their entire arsenal.
Yes.
Everyone wants to be an asshole, but no one wants to commit a hate crime.
Exactly. Now I would still worry there's certain pockets of certain
Especially Eagles fans and most likely in Boston.
Massachusetts.
Not when there's a ton of cameras they don't want to commit a hate crime.
Massachusetts is a blue state, Jono. I'm worried there's some parts. Listen, it depends what tailgate lot you are
for
at
sure. And this
Lincoln
is
Financial Field.
This is Foxborough, so it's not
Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, it's not in the heart of Cambridge, People's Republic of Cambridge. This is like towny town.
Yes.
Towny Central out there.
So I like that. That's a little secret you can do to get out of having the shit beat out of you, which is always nice. Were you much of an athlete growing up? Because I know. For me, I don't know. I have so many memories of coaches being huge dicks to me, and just because you're talking about Belichick, and it reminded me of one of our special teams coaches who just would go nuts in the pregame speeches and just be going crazy. He was getting so hyped up. He's like, "We're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill him." And it was a road game, and he just punched the blackboard, broke through the blackboard. We see him in the second half, and he has an air cast on his hand. He broke his hand punching through a chalkboard, and then we see him the next day loading up a chalkboard in his pickup truck that he had to drive to the other high school to drop off as like a make-good gesture. And we're like, "Where you go with that chalkboard?" He's like, "Run laps, Green." But did you have any?
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I loved the movie Whiplash.
Yes,
It's just it reminded me of like the yelling coach who like is so abusive. I had a JV baseball.
But Whiplash, at least it was something like, oh, it's this Juilliard drum school or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was not Division II junior varsity football.
Yeah, we were like 10 games into our season of like this JV baseball in suburban San Diego, and this coach was Coach Hill. Man, he would yell. I loved him because he would yell.
Yes.
And it was great until it happened to you. There was one game where we made so many errors and messed up so badly. He sat us all down in the locker room and went around to each individual player and told them exactly how and why they sucked. Everyone remembers exactly what he said to them.
Oh, dude, that stays with you.
Oh, yeah. Mine was, I had just struck out twice with the bases loaded. So he was just like, clutch up. You can't hit anything when the pressure's on. You struck out twice. I remember that. And I remember what they said to the person individually. And he went around and finally got to our team manager, who was the scorekeeper.
Someone they do wrong.
He got to my friend, who was the scorekeeper, and said, I can't read your handwriting.
Had to find the one mistake the scorekeeper had. All right, guys. Well, we're bad-mouthing coaches. Our own coach, he's out on sabbatical. He's actually serving a PED suspension. So instead, we will have a pep talk from Coach Jay. So please give a warm welcome to Coach Jay, everyone. You get
Trust
audio.
me, you'd be really motivated.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I totally forgot that I teed you up for that.
Oh, no.
Thing. I was like, oh, you actually want to know which East Coast stadiums I've been to.
They can hear it online.
Okay.
We'll try to stay motivated.
Yeah.
I bet he's got an awesome talk about snacks.
I think they're gonna
God, I think the headset sells the whole thing. Is that crazy?
Yeah, looks great.
Well, we got our big game coming up, but before we do, I think we could use a little pep talk. Coach T is out this week serving a PED suspension, so please give a warm welcome to Coach J.
How you doing, boys? Sean, John, looking good as always. The NFL season is upon us, okay? That means soon, Sundays aren't going to be about being hungover in church or watching RuPaul Drag Race marathons, okay? Sundays are going to be about football. And football is about snacks, okay? Sure, we like to get together, have a couple beers, watch the Patriots cheat, watch the Bears lose, and everything in between. But most importantly, we like to eat, okay? Snacks are important. They're vital. Everybody has to have a good spread. Otherwise, what are we even doing, okay? So these are Coach J's do's and don'ts for this NFL snack season, okay? Do always have chips, okay? Multiple kinds of chips. I suggest a 3-2 on this, right? You want a chip for the salsa in the middle. You want some sort of a hot chip on the side. I suggest chili cheese Fritos, okay? Then you want a regular potato chips, ridges or no ridges, over here on the right. In the backfield, you want Doritos, regular, Doritos, Cool Ranch. Do not mix. Let your guests do that. Remember, everybody's different. You know what they say about pleasing everybody? It's important, okay? Do not put out cookies, okay? That goes against everything the NFL stands for. And the NFL is salty, not sweet. Anything made with a cookie batter is for Christmas or sexual fetishes, okay? Do have crackers. I suggest putting out a multigrain, let people know you're a health nut. If you're gonna do that, you're also gonna have to have a Ritz and a chicken and a biscuit, okay? Do not put out soft cheeses. If you can't physically pick up the piece of cheese with your bare hand and put it on the cracker yourself, it's not processed enough to be called cheese. Do have 3 types of jerky: beef, teriyaki, and for your friend who's had a couple of heart attacks, turkey. Do not put out apple slices as a substitute for jerky or chips, okay? They're gonna turn brown before kickoff and you'll be laughed out of your own party. Do always have wings of some kind: chicken, duck, pigeon. It's essential, and it makes you look like an amateur if you don't have it. Do not put out your girlfriend's vegan substitute for wings, okay? Nobody wants a tofu wing. That's not a thing. Sounds like it came out of a Dr. Seuss poem written in the 9th circle of hell. Do have hot dogs, burgers, brats, and sausages ready to go on the grill, okay? That's American. I don't need to explain that anymore, right? Do not put salmon, cod, or perch on that same grill. That should go without saying, but here we go, and I'm saying it. No fish of any kind, unless you're some weirdo Dolphins fan, and smell and taste go out the window. Those are Coach J's snack tips for this NFL season. And if you remember, clear eyes, full stomach, big shits, can't lose. Back to you, Sean and John.
For Coach J, everyone. You know, guys, every year, $150 billion is wagered with individual bookies. Do you know what the vig on $150 billion is? It's a lot. Become your own boss by becoming an online bookie. That's right. Paperhead has been in business for over 20 years, and they have all the tools you need to start and run your own sportsbook. Perfect time to get started right before the season starts. Don't beat the bookie, be the bookie. Paperhead.com. All right, guys, it is now time for our big game, training camp arrivals.
Oh, man.
Okay, we can play some big game music. You know, NFL players, they've turned reporting to training camp into a new gimmick where they show up in a some sort of wacky ride or some sort of flashy thing. Our big game tonight, guys, I'm going to name a player, and you're going to have to guess what kind of ride he showed up in. Pretty easy, right? All right, first up, how did Antonio Brown arrive? Was it A, helicopter, B, on a surfboard, C, parade float, or D, blimp? Jono?
Oh, man. Well, he's known for his wacky haircuts that look like Lego tops. I'm going to go...
Please put the answer away before.
I'm gonna go.
Don't turn around and look, John.
I'm going to go, you know, none of the above. He arrived on a razor scooter, one of those electric ones. A bird. Yeah.
Okay, John, take a guess.
I would say
Even though you see the, saw
I would
the answer.
say a parade float. Was gonna
Okay,
be mine.
parade float. You're wrong.
I was going to say blimp.
Both of you guys are wrong. It was a helicopter for Antonio Brown, as you saw in the back of the screen. All right, next up. How did Christian McCaffrey arrive? Was it A, a lowrider cart, or lowrider golf cart, B, a skateboard, C, riding a Great Dane, or D, ice cream truck? Jono?
Oh, man, Christian McCaffrey, he's got sweet moves. I'm going to say ice cream truck.
Okay. John?
What was the? I'm gonna say he went simple and showed up on a skateboard.
Show us what he showed up in. Skateboard!
Yeah.
You know, clean-cut white guy. He's got to go skateboard, right?
You got to lean into that
I was
white
gonna
stuff.
say longboard too. I was.
All right, next up. This is a former Pittsburgh Steeler. How did Brett Kiesel arrive? Was it A, in a rickshaw, B, a dump truck, C, a unicycle, D, a steam-powered car? Jonah, did he pull Leno and go steam-powered?
I mean, he does look like an evil genius, and he was for the Steelers. So I'm going to say steam powered.
Okay, John.
What was the first one?
Rickshaw.
I'm gonna say rickshaw.
You guys
Racist.
are both incorrect. Show us what he got. What he came in. Dump truck.
I was gonna say that too, but I couldn't have two answers.
Hey, you know, I love how you have your answer, then your backup answer. There's only two other possible answers, John.
I was gonna say them all.
I'm just thinking of construction that's not happening now.
No. He's just, he just ruined someone's job. Some guy was actually working, he comes out, he's like, where the fuck's my dump truck? Some guy's got to be wacky and get a couple Instagram likes. All right, next up. How did James Harrison arrive? A, F1 race car, B, ambulance, C, covered wagon, or D, fire truck? Jonah?
I was going to guess that he just punched through the crust of the earth to get there, because he's a maniac.
See him doing that?
I mean, he's certainly caused enough injuries where there would need to be an ambulance, but I'm going to say fire truck.
Okay. John?
I was gonna say fire truck as well.
Okay. You guys are both correct. Show me fire truck.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you know, a couple orphanages burned down. Hey, he
But this guy
arrived in
got to
style.
training camp. That's what matters.
Okay, final arrival question for all the marbles. How did DeMarcus Lawrence arrive? Jonah, was it A, a horse, B, a tank, C, hoverboard, or D, Prius?
Ooh.
Horse, tank, hoverboard, or Prius?
I'm going to go horse.
Okay.
I'm gonna say hoverboard with my backup being tank.
Okay, let's see what we got here. John is correct with his backup answer. So, John.
Perfect.
Hey, you know, sometimes backups show up. Just ask Nick Foles, Super Bowl 52, baby.
Just crowbar that in there.
Had a crowbar, an Eagles mention in. All right, big thanks to John Huck, Coach Jay, of course, our guest, Jono Zalay. And before I go, guys, I'd like to leave you with a haiku. Please, my haiku music. Jimmy G has fun. Seriously, fuck the Chargers. 3-step drops are coming. All right, that's it for the show, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Da, 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 da. Now we fake talk to Sean.
Outro music.
Yeah, no, good.